So today was the Xbox Showcase showing us the future of Xbox and, well, really by extension, PlayStation 5 as well, since most of these games are indeed coming to PlayStation 5. And pretty much everything we saw at this event had a PlayStation 5 logo, but surprisingly, not a lot of Switch 2 logos, something we'll have to keep an eye on. Outer Worlds 2 started things out. This is getting a full direct after this showcase is over. I actually really liked the first game, like, quite a bit. It looks like they went with a lot of kind of BioShock influences with the art style and stuff like that. As far as like the signage is concerned, when you start to see the signs pop up in the trailer here, you'll kind of understand what I'm talking about. It even had like the jazzy 60s music in the trailer of some knockoff Sinatra sounding thing. It looks awesome though. Like I said, they're doing a full-on direct of like showing all the different gameplay mechanics and that sort of stuff that's happening now when I'm filming this, but I don't need to see more. Like, I'm sold on it anyways. A game comes out in October. Next up was High on Life 2. It looks weird and quirky. It comes out this winter. I don't know, that kind of Rick and Morty style of humor doesn't really hit on me, which is weird because, you know, I'm a giant man child, so you would think that this would be like right up my wheel well, but it's really not. But it looks like they added in some skateboarding mechanics into the game. Like, I don't know, it could be kind of cool. The game will be coming out in this winter. I probably will still pass on it, but hey, you know, that's fine. A medieval-looking game was up next, but it ended up being the new Plague Tale game, which is kind of crazy because this actually leaked yesterday and kind of shocked a lot of people that a new Plague Tale was coming out so soon. It didn't really have much gameplay, and like the vibe of the trailer felt kind of more action-y, which if you've played the Plague Tale games, they're not really action-y games. It's more so based on stealth. So I'll be interested to see if there's like some major changes that are done to the gameplay for this game. I don't really anticipate them, but hey, you know, maybe they want to switch things up a little bit. Next up was the Xbox Handheld ROG Ally system. It looks like a ROG Ally. It's coming out in holiday of 2025. Now, it does actually, I was actually corrected on Twitter about this. It actually does have a new chipset that's supposed to be in the ROG Ally 2, or the Z2 is what they're calling it. So it may actually run things better than how the ROG Ally runs things now. You could download games natively or stream them from the cloud. Allegedly, there is less like Windows stuff on there. Like you can minimize some of the Windows applications with this. It's kind of a lighter version of Windows. But at the end of the day, it pretty much does what a ROG Ally does now. It has Xbox-inspired controls, and it has an Xbox button on it. I don't know. Like, I guess if you don't own a ROG Ally and you want to play Xbox stuff on the go, like maybe, but I don't know. They also didn't give a price for it either. I assume this will be a premium system. Silksong will be available on it at launch as well. This was the only mention of Silksong, but at least you know that it does indeed exist. Next up, we had a game called The Blood of Dawnwalker. It is a third-person adventure game. I didn't really write many notes on this one. I'm not 100% sure why. I didn't. Like, it looked good, you know, a 2026 game. Looks fine if you're into that style of game, so maybe something to keep in mind. The Blood of Dawnwalker. I believe we have seen it before, though. I could be wrong on that. Super Meat Boy, another game I don't really care for. Like, I love platformers. I don't like platformers where the whole, like, appeal is the difficulty. But this is actually Super Meat Boy 3D. Comes out in early 2026. I think the graphical style is actually very nice. I like the way this game looks. And maybe, you know, I will actually check this one out because of the fact that, you know, it looks prettier. Like, not to say that the pixel art style and other Super Meat Boy games or the older art style was bad per se, but I think this actually looks pretty cool. And, like, you know, obviously there's going to be lots of crazy contraptions that you have to platform over and stuff. So, you know, maybe I'll check it out. Ninja Gaiden 4 time, baby, comes out on October 21st. I have to be honest, though, I'm not even sure who's making this because Platinum is helping out. but like everyone's left Platinum. So who at Platinum is kind of working on this? But the game looks freaking awesome though. Like great graphics, the gameplay looks awesome. I cannot wait to play this. It has been a long time overdue, almost like what, 15 years plus since we gotten a new Ninja Gaiden game in, the 3D style that started on the original Xbox. I definitely really looking forward to this game. Like I said, comes out on October 21st. Definitely a highlight of the show for me. And then we got another highlight of the show with Indiana Jones DLC, The Order of the Giants. This game was my game of the year for 2024. I put a ton of time into it. I did a bunch of the side missions, even went back after I beat it and did a bunch more side missions. I thoroughly enjoyed my time with this game, and now I get more. The DLC will be coming out on September 4th. I will be seated for that, and you probably will be too. Here was probably the weirdest thing of the show for me. Game Freak, the company that makes Pokemon. Those games that look atrocious and ran atrocious until the Switch 2 kind of brute forced its way into making Pokemon Scarlet and Violet run better. Game Freak is making a game called Beast of Incarnation, and this looks like a modern video. So you can't cap for Pokemon anymore. I know there's so many people. Oh, it's fine. There's a lot of things going on in Pokemon. The art style's fine. No, it's not fine. Especially when you see that Game Freak can make a game look like this. Something that looks modern. And I'm not even saying they need to do this kind of visual style for Pokemon, but obviously they know how to. So why are we giving them a pass on everything? I don't know. The game itself looks interesting enough. I'd need to see more from it. Clockwork Revolution was up next. Now, this is a game that we have kind of seen before in little bits and pieces, but this was a more in-depth look at the game. I really like this, dude. It's kind of like Dishonored meets Bioshock-ish, kind of, maybe with some Fallout mixed in there as well. Steampunk sort of aesthetic, different dialogue options that you can do within the dialogue tree, time travel mechanics and time manipulation mechanics, and where it'll sort of impact the world and how the world is where you are in the game. I think that's pretty cool. Lots of different weapons and customization. Just a really awesome looking game, honestly. One of the, feels unique. It's obviously taking elements from games that already exist, but it definitely felt unique in this showcase and definitely seems like a very highly polished game. I will be playing Clockwork Revolution. Will you? I don't know, because you're not making a video on it. If you made a video, then I would know if you're going to play it, but I will be playing it when it comes out. A new Grounded game. I didn't really like Grounded. Like, I felt like they should have just made, like, Honey, I Shrunk the Kids, and, like, that's what Grounded should have been. I'm not big on the survival mechanics and crap like that, but they're making a new game. Obsidian has a lot of games in development right now. Chronos New Dawnfall from Bloober Team, kind of Dead Spacey vibes. I think we've seen this before. Elder Scrolls Online crap. No thanks. Next up was a game called Aphelios, which is like a woman who slides down a lot of things in outer space. Like, half of the gameplay of this trailer was just her like sliding down things. She's trying to find a dude after a crash landing. It's a collaboration effort with the European Space Agency. Government propaganda. Fight the system. I don't want to see that. I don't like that. But I don't know, maybe the game will be all right. I took a pee break and got a snack. There was a game called There Are No Ghosts at the Grand that comes out in 2026, in which you kind of renovate a hotel/town that you were given by your uncle. There was Age of Mythology stuff. No thank you. Next up was an interesting looking game, a Korean game, it appears, called Mudang Two Hearts. Okay, not the most, not the most catchy title in the world, but it seemed like an action game with stealth segments, and like one of the characters you play as is like a K-pop star or something like that. It's like there's like stealthy stuff, like she's kind of the stealthy stuff, and then you got like a brute force character. It almost reminds me a little bit, and I know this is going to probably sour people on the game, but it almost reminds me of the good parts of Resident Evil 6. Like, there are zombies and some sort of virus going on, but like the over-the-shoulder camera kind of reminded me a bit of Resident Evil 6, and then the multiple characters thing as well. I don't know. I like this game. I know there are people that hate Resident Evil 6. I'm not one of those people. but I'll be keeping an eye on this game. Comes out in 2026. Mudang, Two Hearts. Then we had Planet of Lana 2. I never played the first. Come out in 2026. Fallout 76. No thank you. Here is a game. I'm going to talk just for a little bit so that like the trailer plays and you could see it. I don't have anything to say about this game because I'm not going to play it. It's like, team up with friends sort of thing. I want to talk about the name of this game. The name of this game is called Solo Leveling Arise Overdrive. You literally picked words out of a jar. You wrote down words on a piece of paper, just one word, and you put them all in a jar. And you're like, okay, we're going to pick 4 of these, and then that's going to be the name of our game. Solo Leveling Arise Overdrive. That makes no sense. Next up, the Pokemon lawyers got their nipples a little bit hard because a game called Animo was up next. And hey, it's a Pokemon. There's Pokemon looking characters, definitely sort of Pocket Monster-y. You're battling these characters. I wonder if Game Freak's working on this. It looks kind of Unreal Engine, like acid flippy, but like the characters, they definitely look a lot like Pokemon. I'm sure there is a letter being typed up right now by the Pokemon team lawyers saying, hey, cease and desist, pal, not pal world, Animo, but you need to cease and desist because this looks too much like a Pokemon game. Tony Hawk was here. He looked really old, and it made me feel really old. They talked about Tony Hawk 3 and 4. There's some new stuff that's been added in, new parks, new music. Of course, they did get rid of the standard career mode for Tony Hawk 4 because they hate us, and I know people are like, oh, it's not a big deal. It is a big deal, okay? Go back and play Tony Hawk 4 and see how much it's, like, ingrained into the game. Like, I think it makes the game better. At least it does in my opinion. I'm still playing this, though. They better have the AFI song in Tony Hawk 3. There was a CKY. They played 96 Quite Bitter Beings in the trailer. So RIP if you're streaming this event. But it looks cool. There is a demo out today. Next up was a game called At Fate's End. No, thank you. Gears of War Remastered was showcased next, and it looks great. I'm very glad that they got rid of the piss filter that influenced games in this generation, the Xbox 360, PS3 generation. 4K HDR, 60 frames per second campaign, 120 frames per second multiplayer. I will be playing this to see if I still have my skills. I used to play online a lot back in the day. This was actually the reason I bought an Xbox 360 back in the day, was because of Gears of War 1. A bunch of my friends were playing it, and I wanted to play it as well. The game will be coming out on August 26th. Persona 4 Revival got a little tease, so if you're a Persona 4 fan, hey, there you go. Sea of Thieves stuff, no thank you. A superhero game based on Invincible, which I haven't watched, so I don't know any of these characters, was up next. It's a fighting game, a 3-on-3 fighting game. Maybe in a sort of Marvel new fighting game world on the PS5, this would have, hit harder, but I don't know. I guess it still could be decent. I'm just not familiar with any of these characters. Here was an interesting announcement. A long time coming. Final Fantasy VII Remake is finally coming to Xbox this winter. And Final Fantasy 16 is coming to Xbox as well. Both of these games are not on Game Pass, so you have to buy them. So I'm very interested to see some sales data from that. Obviously, it'll take some time, but I think that'll kind of be an interesting thing to see if Xbox owners end up picking up these games. Final Fantasy 16 is actually out today, though, so that is a very, very nice shadow drop. I think that's pretty cool. A new game from Double Fine was showcased. I probably won't play it. Super Slim Phil Spencer was here. Hope he is healthy and doing well. Talked briefly about Gears of War E-Day and a new Forza and more in 2026. And then we got our final game. And I didn't know what the hell this was. And then once I figured out what this was, I was kind of like, oh, okay. It's Call of Duty Black Ops 7. And when you're watching this trailer, you're probably like, this doesn't look like Call of Duty. And yeah, because it's futuristic Call of Duty. They're going to the future. I'm not a huge fan of the futuristic Call of Duty stuff. I like the more sort of grounded games. I didn't really care for like Advanced Warfare and stuff like that. But it looks like they're going back with the futuristic thing. I guess it could be interesting. But overall, I thought this was a pretty good show. Like there was some definite cool stuff here. There was a ton of games here. You had a shadow drop as well. Where the hell is Perfect Dark? I'm guessing that's not coming out in 2025. Is it coming out in 2026? Like, if where was Perfect Dark? That kind of annoyed me quite a bit because I was hoping to see that. But overall, a very good show. Even if you're a PlayStation 5 guy, you should be very happy because, I mean, most of these games are coming to PlayStation 5. Kind of a lack of Nintendo Switch 2 logos, though. Something to keep an eye on. Anyways, guys, those are my thoughts on the Xbox Showcase. Let me know what you think of them in the comment section down below. And as always, thank you guys for checking out this video. If you are new to the channel, be sure to hit that subscribe button. Be sure to like, comment, and share. Hit the bell as well. And as always, I'll catch you guys on the next video, which will be up later today. Later.